So today we're going to be discussing what Professor Peck argued that led to the dramatic shift in painting during this era. As Professor Peck mentioned, because of the Industrial Revolution, the paint tube was created. So after the paint tube was created, people were not able to go outside to paint. Perry Hurt, an associate art conservator at the North Carolina Museum of Art, states, but yet another invention helped make the Impressionist revolution possible. A frustrated South Carolina painter named John G. Rand invented the collapsible metal paint tube, and suddenly paint became portable. So again, this just kind of reiterates what Professor Peck says and validates his statements. But when the paint tube was created, people were now able to paint outside. It's just the change that happened, and I do think that you're right because people were not able to go outside to paint, but I think there was a lot more to do with the camera and the invention of the camera. But then again, like you mentioned, the camera was invented during the Industrial Revolution as well. I believe that the camera was a big contribution to the change in painting during this era, because the purpose of painters now shifted. In the past, painters were relied on to replicate what they saw or what they wanted to see. So like if you think of this time, the dreamy, beautiful paintings that people used to do back in the day. And then after the camera was invented, painters were no longer necessarily needed for that, because a camera can easily take someone's portrait. So then obviously during this time, the paint tube was invented as well, so people were not able to go outside and people started experimenting with what they can create. So people began, I think of like Goya, where he began to paint ugly things instead of beautiful things, and then people started incorporating texture into their paintings, and now that they were going outside, people were beginning to paint quickly, and like you mentioned, like Professor Peck mentioned in his video, because of the camera, people began experimenting, and basically just as time goes on, people will always look for a different way to create something, because the safe way and doing something how everyone else is doing it now is the boring way, and no one wants the boring way or the typical way. So that's why even people to this day are constantly thinking of new ways to create something original and unique. So just the camera, I feel like, really shifted the mentality of painters back in the day.